unless you think we're going to let Jason retire, we're going to get him back in harness from his Neiman Fellowship up at Harvard at the moment. Now, Roy, I wonder if you'd come and join us and bring your wife and partner, Elizabeth Dribbin, with you. Come stand up here with us, please. You can see why we pick people from the Middle East because of what's happening and because of their extraordinary record of what they've done and what they are doing and what you're going to continue to do. Send you back out there. Let me read the citation for Roy, who incidentally I discover, I had not forgotten this, and I don't know how it happened because I'm so much younger than he is, but I preceded him at the London School of Economics, but there you are. I must have either been precocious or something. For decades, Roy Gutman has been a go-to guy for knowledge of so much that is important abroad. Journalist of the top rank, his commentary goes even to the heart of darkness and brings the light of understanding. In Bosnia-Herzegovina and ethnic cleansing. In Afghanistan and the roots, the course, and the effects of terrorism. And in his unflinching exposure of the crimes of war. At Newsday, as Middle East bureau chief for McClatchy newspapers and now freelancing from Istanbul, he brings the journalist's eye and a humanist's heart to the core issues and challenges of our time. His banana diplomacy brought clarity to U.S. policy in Nicaragua, his witness to genocide to the horrors still possible in post-Cold War Europe. As the Middle East continues its painful, often tragic struggle toward modernity, Roy Gutman's vision and voice will continue to be essential for everyone. Roy, congratulations. Here we go. Let's make sure. Why don't we get? Come on, you get in here too.
The old boys network from the LSE.
Thank you. Let me. Why don't we give this to her? Yes. And I'm going to give you the check as well. Okay?
I'm a freelance. I need that. That might take care of next month. You never know. So. Being here is as high an honor as it can be. It's not just that I hold the people in this room in such high esteem, but of course what this building stands for and the history incorporated in this room. We journalists, as you can tell from our manner of dress, are outsiders. We are probably the only ones who don't have pinstripe suits in our wardrobe that all of you have. And our job is not the same as yours. We don't defend and promote the interests of the state. Our job is watchdogs. And that means to point out when the state's interests are not being defended. It means digging out facts when situations go wrong and putting them before the public. That's really what I wanted to say something about today and pick up maybe a little bit of the history where my esteemed friend Bob Zellick left off. And I'm honored to be honored today as a commentator. So with your permission, I will comment. I will take that as my license. I had the great privilege and honor and just good timing in covering the end of the Cold War. And it was a peaceful ending. It was a transformative success. In retrospect, that period was the golden era for diplomacy and also for journalism. I think there was a combination of two factors that led to that success. One was coercive diplomacy, that is, diplomacy backed by the threat of the use of force. But there was also a soft power, a path to peaceful change, centering on human rights as laid out in the Helsinki Accords. Just 2 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall, when Yugoslavia came apart, the lessons of the Cold War, it seemed to me, had been already forgotten. And what drove my coverage there was not the bang-bang of conflict that makes up so much of the news reporting out of war zones, but the human suffering and the crimes as the world looked on. Bosnia, to me, was a war masquerading, it was a war crime masquerading as a war. The defining event of that decade, the other defining event, was the emergence of security vacuums in places we least expected them and weren't watching, places like Afghanistan. Having engaged heavily in the 1980s, or the United States, departed the scene in the 1990s. The security and power vacuums there were filled by the Taliban and by al-Qaeda, leading to 9/11. For the past 5 years, I have been focusing on Syria. It seems to me that all the lessons, once again, of the Cold War era, of the post-Cold War era, have been forgotten. First, we had a pullout of U.S. forces from Iraq in 2011 without a stable structure to follow them. And then, as the Syrian state lost control of much of its territory in 2012 and 2013, the U.S. developed a policy for Syria of having no policy. Others filled the vacuum, Iran and ISIS. So my other concern and the other reason things that drives me to cover Syria is the humanitarian issue. The pattern, the parties to the humanitarian law, that body of law that emerged, especially after World War II, have pledged to uphold and see to it that those agreements are upheld. But once again, I think we've forgotten that. We learned that lesson, I thought, in Bosnia and in Rwanda, but only to forget it again in Syria. Once again, we have a situation of a war crime masquerading as a war. It is baffling for me to observe that our current president has been almost mute as crimes against humanity are committed before our eyes. Soon we'll have his successor who wants to join on the side of the perpetrators. Something has truly gone wrong there. And there's enormous values at stake in my mind. In shorthand, the lessons of the Holocaust, the lessons of Nuremberg. And I fear a major failure for American interests is coming in this region. Diplomacy has descended into empty meetings and endless process. Everyone knows that diplomacy will fail if it's not backed by the threat of the use of force. But force not linked to the search for a political outcome will run the nation's interests aground. I fear that in Syria, we are failing on both counts. Diplomacy without force, and in the case of the fight against ISIS, force without diplomacy. So that's my observation. Over all of my years of reporting, the United States is, as you all know so well, the keystone in the arch of world order. Those on the other side are those who would fill the security vacuums, rogue states, rogue non-state actors. They want to pull down the arch. It would be an enormous error of historic proportions if they are able to capture the field. So it's time to speak out on this, it seems to me, and for that I will gladly become a commentator. And I thank you so much for this award because it sort of is the culmination of an entire career in covering the subject. Thank you.